Thanks, Allie. Well, welcome everyone. I'm happy you're here with us today. Feel free to continue eating your lunch. I know that it is lunchtime for folks here in Minnesota, so feel free to do that. But again, welcome to Mentor Minnesota's Lunch and Learn. We're excited to be here to facilitate conversation as we discuss really this important work of creating workforce pathways for young people. The Mentor Minnesota's team is excited to also have a couple special guests with us, Rachael Molenaar from Ramsey County Workforce Solutions and Gabe Epstein from the Sundance Family Foundation. So agenda, kind of quickly, we're going to start from a good place, and that's really getting to know all of you, introduce Mentor Minnesota. And for those of you that are new to joining us, provide you with some resources and really providing these or creating these workforce pathways for young people. And then hear from our guests, really community champions when it comes to creating workforce pathways, and hear some of their helpful tools that are available to programs. And then provide you with a space at the end for conversation and a place to ask questions. And again, just facilitating a great conversation. That's what I think of myself as a facilitator. But starting from a good place, and that's really getting to know all of you. So in the chat, if you'd be so kind to please share your name and pronouns, your organization, your agency or program that you're here with. And then I'm curious to know or encourage you to think about who supported you in your career development. So again, in the chat, if you'd be so kind to introduce yourself and then share a little bit about who really supported you when it came to growing and uplifting you in your career development. And while we learn a little bit about you, we'd like to introduce ourselves again to anyone that's new to joining us at Mentor Minnesota. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Sarah.
Hey everybody, my name is Sarah Schaefer, she, her. I'm the executive director at Mentor Minnesota. And we're really excited that you're joining us here today because we're joined by Rachael and Gabe, both of whom have done a lot of work in workforce development, and Mentor Minnesota really sees the value in building those relationships with all of you to create better pathways for young people. And so I just want to answer this question because I love this question, Emily, who supported you in your career development. I started working really full-time in the summers when I was 9, which is kind of hard to believe, but babysitting and cleaning houses. And so when I got to college and somebody told me, or I was admitted to be an admissions worker at my local college, I thought, I've been working now for, what was it, like 13 years. I totally know what I'm doing. But the person who hired us in a cohort of students and really taught us how to be professional. So we had a meeting about how to dress. We had a meeting about how to have a conversation with prospective students. We really got this on the ground training. My mentor in that space was my boss, Catherine, and she really taught me how to be a professional. And so I'm very thankful for her. And it was truly through this structured program. So I'm really excited to hear how we are doing that as a collective and how we can better extend the outcomes for young people like I had done for me with Catherine across Minnesota. So I will pass it to Allie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Allie Ervig, she, her, hers, at Mentor Minnesota. And I would say, well, definitely Emily and Sarah, but I won't get into that right now. Another person was probably, I had a graphic design internship and I was given a lot of freedom and agency to work on what projects I wanted and like figure out what I liked working on, which was really helpful in an internship. So yeah, and I'll send it back over to Emily.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Allie. Appreciate you too very much. Emily Gare, I use she, her pronouns. I'm the program director at Mentor Minnesota. Before joining Mentor Minnesota, I worked in education for almost 20 years. My passion has really always been advocating for young people, and this role is no different. And in terms of who supported myself in my career development, I'm still learning and growing I really do appreciate both Sarah and Allie as my teammates here. And then thinking back to my earlier career days after high school graduation, I wasn't so sure of what I wanted to do. So I took a job in retail and was lucky enough to really have a manager that mentored me more in an informal space, but really teaching, me the skills and the craft of retail, if you will, and sales. But perhaps I think the most influential part and most impactful way that my manager mentored me and really uplifted me was she believed in me. I think she uplifted the talents that she saw that I didn't even know existed, and really helped to be supportive and encourage me all along the way. And I think I love to hear stories. And so, I encourage you to continue to think about this and continue to share in the chat as we get to know each other a little bit, and think about those people and those mentors that we've had in our life and what impact that really had. So in storytelling, I'm going to just share a little bit about some pillars of our work, because I do feel that in knowing what we do, it helps to tell our story a little bit. So Mentor Minnesota's pillars of work really, I'll lead with our vision. So our vision is that all youth have agency at home, at school, out in the community, and as a core to our conversation today, in the workplace. And so how do we do that? We do that by supporting you, the adults. We believe in really holistic youth development, and that's through our different pillars of elevating quality, connecting people to each other, expanding the mentoring movement, and also influencing systems. Some of the different areas of work that we do, we provide trainings, and today I'm going to be highlighting one of our trainings that will be available now this coming year in 2022. It's just around the corner, and that's called Connect, Focus, Grow, and it's a training that's geared toward workforce development, and so I'm excited to share that. We also believe in having evidence-based and empirical research resources. So we provide those resources that are based on evidence and really best practices. We also provide workshops and cohort learning opportunities. We're also excited that now in 2022, we're going to be hosting a workforce pathways development cohort. And so, look for those opportunities as we reach out to programs and such, but we also provide other areas too, as I'll be sharing out some of our tools when it comes to workshop materials. And then just a quick reminder for folks that are new that we also provide consulting, and that's through, we provide free technical assistance for programs that serve an age under the age of 18. And that technical assistance is provided through the National Mentoring Resource Center. So if you're ever interested in maybe connecting with that, by all means, feel free to reach out to Sarah or myself, and we can walk you through that process. As I mentioned, we're joined today by Ramsey County Workforce Solutions and Sundance Family Foundation. And a little shout out to Sundance Family Foundation, who recently put out their Earn and Learn documentary, which I believe Gabe is going to be sharing the resources to that here after a bit. But I really wanted to share just a short clip to help ground us really in our conversation today, as it shows what workforce pathways can look like. And then really kind of the focus on why this matters.
What is Earn and Learn? All right. If someone were to ask me what Earn and Learn is, I would say it's any opportunity that you get to gain some experience, to gain a professional development network, but also to actually make some money and provide a living for yourself or your family or whoever that is around you, and then be able to see yourself in a career, to be able to see yourself being able to not only grow grow in your financial capacity, but also grow in your skill set.
An Earn and Learn program is a program which is sponsored by an organization, respective organization, in which they are providing funding for employees to work and earn a salary as well as achieve their degree.
So when I think about Earn and Learn, I think of a couple different things. I think about somebody who has an opportunity to be working in a career that they're exploring, that they're interested in advancing in, be paid for that experience, and be able to then apply what they're learning in the classroom at the same time to that work experience. So that then there's a coaching relationship at the workplace to support that learning. It isn't just a job, it becomes about career development. And then there's the ability to apply that learning. We've also seen in many of those models tuition assistance, addressing some of those challenges that we're talking about for some of our, for some members of our community. That also becomes a critical component for access.
So the Earn and Learn program helps youth be able to explore different opportunities that are out there, and it supports them by breaking down those barriers that they may experience. It's hard to just go out and learn what's out there on your own. So by offering small incentives, whatever that may be on whatever level, it is just really encouraging them to find out what really works for them to help hopefully secure their future a little bit better. These Earn and Learn programs are important, especially those focusing on skills and trades, because traditionally, past however many decades, schools have really focused on the four-year college opportunity, and that has created a gap in the trades and the skills sector. So we are really hoping to help kids gain experience and just gain exposure to these different fields, to see that they're not just dirty jobs. They are really interesting. They are high skilled, and just to kind of see and learn what's out there.
Earn and Learn models bring the needs and assets of young people and the needs and future forward thinking of employers, bringing them together to have a clear solution for the future.
So the Earn and Learn program has really helped us meet the goals of really representing the citizens of St. Paul in our workforce on an everyday basis.
This Earn and Learn process of training before employment is going to be the new big thing, and it's really going to change how pursuing a career is going to look like.
Yeah, and sorry if there's some cutting out a little bit for folks. I will be sure to share all of the resources that we're talking about today with folks. And I always do a wraparound where I try to button everything up and let you, dive into the resources a little bit on your own as well. So sorry if it was cutting out a little bit. It could be on my end. I know I'm coming from you way out in Northwest Metro, and it is super windy at my house. So it could be part of that too. So I apologize, but I'll definitely be sharing all of these resources with all of you. So as we just saw, creating workforce pathways are both valuable and really, in providing economic sustainability. Mentoring's role is really to ensure a bright future for young people. And that's within these workplaces that we're focused on here today. So the mentoring really comes to play, I think, when it's uplifting and supporting this next generation of leaders and innovators that really allow our communities to thrive. So these are just a few some stats on some research that where did mentoring's role, or where does it come in when it comes to creating workforce pathways? And we know that employers supporting youth mentoring, 73% of employees report strong career satisfaction, 73%. So that's huge. We also know that mentoring equals greater diversity and retention of diverse populations. And that greater diversity then increases performance and innovation. So some common context for the workforce. I'm not going to dive into all of these, and I'm sure many of you are aware at least of one or maybe a couple of these, but these are just some different ways that workforce mentoring can look. So there's career exploration that's often embedded in schools, creating that spark, if you will. There's work-based learning opportunities, really teaching those skills. There is job shadowing. So that's inviting young people to come in and try on maybe a different skill or career pathway. Internships and apprenticeships, that's more focused on the skill development. And sometimes that time frame can be anywhere from a semester all the way up to a year. There's also new employee onboarding time that takes place. And that's really sort of that probationary time that often workplaces will talk about. And then academic mentoring. And that happens most often in post-secondary settings. So out of high school, but then sort of in this in between. So I'm going to share 3 different resources before I hand it over to our special guest. The first resource or tool, if you will, is our workforce supplement. So this is intended to utilize along with our elements of effective practice. And those are those core elements of mentoring, such as recruitment and screening, et cetera. But in tandem with those core elements of effective practice for mentoring, the workplace supplement also really highlights and helps support guidance in the importance of building relationships, practicing critical and creative thinking, helps foster decision-making, and giving and receiving feedback, and sort of that communication line, and how and providing some guidance to how that can be supported, and then really driving influence for young employees. The second tool I wanted to share is called Futurescape. And so this was created in partnership by Mentor National and the American Student Assistance. Again, I'll be sharing this resource out to all of you to explore. But this is a no-cost tool that really helps middle school and high school students prepare for their future. And that's through career exploration. But the beauty in it is that they're able to access it on their phone or any other device so that they can explore careers at any time, at any place. And some kind of context as to what Futurescape is about. It's powered by real-time insights. So it's the only future exploration tool that learns and grows in sync with young people's evolving strengths, passions, interests, and goals. So it's sort of, as it's asking questions, it begins to sort of snowball, if you will, and expands and grows along with the young person that's going through the platform. And mentors and caring adults can use this platform as really a place of curiosity. There's some guidance in asking questions and what does, and getting the mentors and the adults that are supporting these young people into building connection with each other. But it's a really, I went through the whole tutorial on it with Mentor National, and it is a really unique and exciting tool. So I encourage all of you to check it out. And lastly, another workforce pathway tool is our Connect, Focus, Grow training. So we're excited about this training. And really the goal of this training is to create a mentoring mindset for industry professionals in order to increase positive outcomes for young people and those job seekers. And those young people too that are maybe not traditionally seen as candidates, but again, creating this opportunity for both the employer and the young person to connect, to focus, and to grow together. And a few of the key concepts that are embedded in this training are talking about that mentoring mindset, cultural competency, and cultural humility, and then all along the way providing tools and guidance for employers and supervisors and building support. And speaking of support, we're excited to be joined today by Rachael Molenaar. She's the youth programs planner at Ramsey County Workforce Solutions and doing amazing work at Ramsey County. Following Rachael, we also have Gabe Epstein, who's program manager at the Sundance Family Foundation, who again are also just community champions when it comes to this work around supporting workforce development. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Rachael.
Thanks, Emily. All right. Well, it's great to see folks on the call today. I'm excited to talk a little bit about the work that we're doing at Workforce Solutions and really focus in on the work that we're doing to support youth and young adults here in Ramsey County, and have a conversation at the end as well. All right. So like Emily said, my name is Rachael Molenaar. I work as a planning specialist at Ramsey County, and I work primarily in our youth and young adult programming. And I'll talk about what specifically the services we offer for young folks a little later. But for folks who aren't familiar, Workforce Solutions, we are a department within Ramsey County, and we provide employment and training services to job seekers sort of across the lifespan from ages 14 and up. And we also provide services to businesses who are seeking employees in Ramsey County. Our mission is to strengthen the economic success of our community through personalized and effective workforce development. Our department has about 80 employees, and we have a variety of community partners. I think last we checked, we have formal partnerships with probably over 25 local organizations who also do workforce development work and support our job seekers and their families. We are an affiliate of CareerForce, which is the state's job seeker services network. And so through the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, we are an affiliate site of that program. And so because of that, we have a few community career lab sites. We have our CareerForce Center, which is right in St. Paul on Fairview University at the Greg's Midway building. That is a state operated site that we are a partner at. So folks can go, although I think it's technically closed right now because of COVID, but normally folks can walk in and receive services there. Additionally, we have community career lab locations, one in downtown St. Paul and one at the Maplewood Library. And these are available for any residents of Ramsey County to come in. There's printing, faxing, obviously computers, and there's also folks who work in those spaces who can help folks apply for jobs, do job search, look up training opportunities, and connect them into our more long-term employment and training programs. So we serve residents who are enrolled in eligibility-based programs, and so we have a number of programs. Again, I'll be talking about our youth and young adult programming primarily. We also have programs that serve families who are receiving public assistance. We have programs that are serving folks who are dislocated workers or who have been laid off or lost their job. And we have programs that serve adults who maybe haven't had a lot of workforce experience, and then obviously youth and young folks. We also serve just a general job seeker or universal customer through our career lab locations, by phone, which I have all that information at the end, and then also virtually and with events. So we host a variety of events throughout the year, featured employers, job fairs. Last week we held a summit about career pathways in green energy. So there's a variety of events and opportunities for job seekers and for folks working in the space to get connected that we provide. For a little bit of context, the state of Minnesota has, I think it's 18 or 17 workforce development areas, and we are the formal workforce development area for geographically Ramsey County, including the city of St. Paul. Because of that, our funding that we get to provide services to the community is overwhelmingly grant funded that we receive from the federal and state government through our partners at the Department of Employment and Economic Development and at the Department of Human Services. We have a workforce innovation board who oversees all of the work of our department, and they really set the vision and strategy around our programming. Like I mentioned, our department is funded 96% of our budget is these grant dollars. And so because of that, we do have some limits to our flexibility in terms of the creativity of services, in terms of who we can serve more broadly. And if folks have questions, we can talk about at the end. We have had some unique opportunities with funding that has come in response to COVID, primarily from the federal government, to do some new and innovative programming that I can talk about if folks have questions. So again, I'm going to talk about primarily our youth and young adult employment services. We do provide employment services that look very similar to this for folks across the life cycle. But we do, like I mentioned, provide individualized, customized employment and training services to young folks. And we do this through 3 contracted vendor partners. And so the 3 partners who we currently have contracts with to provide youth and young adult services is Hmong American Partnership, YWCA St. Paul, and Hired. And they provide programming to young folks who are low income and or at risk. And our services are broken up to serve young folks who are either out of school, so ages 16 to 24, who have either dropped out of high school or graduated high school and are not currently in post-secondary school or training. And then we also serve in-school youth between the ages of 14 to 21 who are in obviously high school, middle school, high school, transitions plus programs, alternative schools, etc. Our programming provides 14 program elements. These are program elements that are mandated by the federal government that we provide to the young people who we work with. And so that ranges, I won't go over all 14 of them, but primarily, career coaching, job search and assistance, work experiences, both paid and unpaid. So some of those things that Emily talked about, the job shadowing, internships, on the job training, those all are things that young people can access through our programs. We provide connections to education and training opportunities. And so for some young people, that may look like getting a GED. For some young people, it could look like getting support to apply for college and gain financial aid. And for some young people, it may look like going into a short-term training program at St. Paul College or Century College, or getting some other sort of occupational certification. We provide financial literacy, we provide entrepreneurship training. We have lots of young people who want to start their own businesses, which is very exciting. And then we do provide support services to try to reduce barriers as much as possible for young people. So that can be anything from buying work boots if somebody needs steel-toed boots for work, to supporting transportation, to supporting housing needs. It really ranges the gambit of what young people need to help them accomplish their goals as it relates to employment and education. And it really, all of this work is focused on the connection between the employment guidance counselors and that young person. Like I mentioned, it's an individualized program. So every young person develops an individual plan, a goal plan with their counselor, and works on those individual needs. So again, it's very individualized to what young people need and will likely change as their needs change throughout the course of the program. So I am going to stop sharing and then reshare. So we have some exciting tools that the county has invested in the last about year and a half. And we have a new tool called Ramsey County Means Business. So this is a tool that was developed with our partners who work in community and economic development at Ramsey County. This really was developed as an economic development tool, but we see our workforce as one of the most appealing things to employers who want to come and do work in Ramsey County, and businesses who want to do work in Ramsey County. We are positioned as our department in with the Economic Growth and Community Investment Service team at the county, which is very unique. Most places see workforce services under kind of a human services lens. At Ramsey County, we really see our workforce as an asset to our broader community investment. And so I would encourage folks to go on to the RamseyCountyMeansBusiness.com page and play around, because there is a ton of information that I do not have time to talk about today. But a few tools specific to workforce that I do want to point out to folks. So if you go on the site, you can look under the workforce tab, and there's a variety of tabs and opportunities here to click into and learn about. So if you want, you can read about the work we're doing with our career internship programs. You can read about our inclusive workplaces cohort that our board is supporting. You can learn about our partners. We have a partner directory that lists, I think they're at like over 120 organizations who have partner work with both us at Ramsey County, but are doing anything sort of in the workforce ecosystem at Ramsey County. You can learn more about our board. There's some specific tools for construction. There's also our school district career pathway directory. So if you are a business or an employer in the community and you want to get connected to schools, you can find the information about the career and technical education folks for all of the districts within Ramsey County on this directory. You can also go and read labor market information. I will quickly point out there is a great report on here specifically about youth employment that was done earlier this year that I would encourage folks to check out. Really goes into the data around youth employment, but also really digs into what young people are looking for, what the barriers are, and how we can better support them. So just encourage folks to check it out when they get time. But I want to highlight two really unique pieces of this page. So the first is the Job Connect board. And so Job Connect is a free job hosting site that the county offers to the community. And so if you're an employer, you can post on this site for free. You do not need to register. Generally, once you create and fill out the information and submit it, it's generally posted within 2 hours. And then we also have this job seeker side of the page as well. And so I'm going to brag about the site for a couple minutes because there's some unique features on this page that a lot of kind of job boards that folks are familiar with do not have. And so one of those is this transit option. So if you are a job seeker who is looking for a specific job on a bus line or on the green line, you can do that using this tool. Again, that's a unique aspect that a lot of other sites don't have. Also, if you're an employer and you're submitting your posting for the site, you can indicate that as well. And when we look at where those jobs are, you can obviously filter by these other boxes as well at the top, but it comes up on a map. I will say we try to keep it geographically tight in Ramsey County, but that doesn't stop us from posting jobs. You know, I see there's one in Minneapolis. You know, sometimes we'll get jobs posted in Woodbury, Oakdale, some of the places that would be close to job seekers who live in Ramsey County. And so we can essentially, you know, look on the map and see. You can also look at the specific postings, click into them. Almost all of them have a link you can apply directly through the site, which is awesome. And then there is contact information and then information about the work. And so this is a great tool for job seekers to use. The other unique piece that I am going to highlight to you all, in addition to the transit box, we also have a youth-friendly box. And so that's an exciting piece. This is fairly new, I think maybe about 6 to 8 weeks ago, the youth-friendly piece was added. And so that is exciting because employers can indicate if they're open to working with young people. This generally means that they're going to have more flexible hours, that they're going to have some investment into young people. They want to provide some mentorship and supervision and oversight to young people. And so if you're working with young folks, this youth-friendly box is a great tool to help them find where it might be that they would be interested in working that is open to young people. So again, there's a lot of really cool different features on the site, but it's a great tool if you're working with young people or if you're looking for employees to have at the ready. So I'm going to hop into our training dashboard, and then I'm going to take a couple minutes and see if there's questions about the specific site before I hop back to my slides. So in addition to the Job Connect tool that is looking for those job postings, we also host a training dashboard. So these are all trainings that are available. Generally, they're for folks ages 18 and older, but are free trainings, free occupational trainings that are out in the community. So similar to the Job Connect page, folks can, if you're a community-based organization and you want to post your training on here, you can email and the details to Ask Workforce Solutions at co.ramsey.mn.us. You can also filter on this page by industry. You can filter by location. So if you're looking for something that's online, you can filter by the keyword. So a number of pieces to look for. This is also a great tool if you are an employer and you're looking for folks in a specific field, right? So maybe you are a medical call center and you want to hire folks. It's a great connection to then you can say, oh, I'm going to connect with Hired and I'm going to figure out how I can support their graduates, right? Here's their phone number, here's their contact information, so that we can help increase the pathways for job seekers, young and old, to help really fill the gap from getting those short-term training opportunities into career pathways. So I'm going to stop for a second here and just take questions about the web page if folks have questions about the web page.
There was a question, Rachel, wondering from Brad if you know, or is there a counterpart doing the same work in Hennepin County?
So yes and no. Yes, there is. Our programming that we provide to job seekers is available in Hennepin County. I'll say it gets a little tricky because the city of Minneapolis is its own workforce development area, separate from Hennepin, which is a workforce development area with Carver County. And so it gets a little more confusing geographically over there. But they do, both Hennepin and Carver and the city of Minneapolis provide employment and training services. So if folks are familiar with the Step Up program in Minneapolis, that's a program that the city of Minneapolis provides through community partners to support young people. So they do have the services over there, but again, the geography is a little trickier.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, maybe I will hop back into my slides here, unless folks have other questions about the web page. But again, I would encourage folks to just check out the web page when you have some time, because it would take 2 hours for me to show you every single feature on that website. So let's see if I can click forward. Now it will not let me. Yeah, there we go. So we were asked to talk a little bit about some of the challenges, and these are specifically for young folks, but I think we would see with our job seekers more broadly. The first is that there are a lot of systemic barriers to getting young people connected to education and employment. Things like you have to often have an ID in order to get enrolled in our programs. You have to have an ID and a social security card. If we're working with young folks who have experienced traumas, challenges in the past, they may not have those documents. There are often challenges in getting young folks into education, whether those are testing requirements, whether those are the appropriate credits from high school, a number of challenges in that piece. What we often hear from young people, and Gabe will talk more about the learn and earn model, but that is young people need to earn money. Many young people are contributing financially to their households. And because of that, they need to be working. And so that really limits their ability to take time to pursue career pathways that require some additional post-secondary education, which we all know is what we want for young people. Again, that could be a short-term training program. It could be an apprenticeship. It could be a 2 or 4 year college, but we know that young people are going to make more money. They're going to sort of stay within the pathway longer if they have some additional education. And so we often see that young people need support in order to be able to access those trainings financially, because they have rent to pay and they have groceries that they're responsible for buying. So we are excited to do more investment into learn and earn opportunities, and are grateful for our partnership with Sundance and all the great work that they're doing. And then finally, we also have a challenge of not having employers who necessarily understand the experiences of young people and may not be a safe space for young people. In Ramsey County, the young people who are in our county look very different than who our current workforce is. They are a much more diverse group of young people, speak many languages, come from many backgrounds. And so we are trying to provide additional supports to employers to help them support young people, including providing mentorship to them as they come into their workplaces, both in making young people aware of professional opportunities and supporting them professionally, but also supporting them personally. We know that as a community, we want to wrap our arms around young people and help them be successful, because if you're going to be successful at work, you're probably going to be successful in a lot of other areas of your life. And so we are so excited for the partnership with Mentor Minnesota and the work that you all are doing, and also with our other partners in the workforce development space. So I think that is probably my time. I could talk forever. It's like super exciting work. Like I said, we have some great new opportunities that we've been piloting with some federal COVID relief dollars that have been really exciting. But here's the information if folks want to get in touch, Workforce Solutions. If you're looking to get connected to any of our programming, you can reach out directly at 651-266-9890. There also is, if you just look up Ramsey County Job Seeker, Ramsey County Workforce, you'll find this information. There's a contact form you can submit. There's also that Ask Workforce Solutions email. Otherwise, if folks have specific questions about youth and young adult employment and training, or questions about any of our partnerships or programming, you can also reach out to me directly. And my email is listed there as well. So thanks so much, everyone. Again, I'm happy to take questions if folks have questions, but we are very grateful for the time this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. And I will share out all of the contact information to folks on the call too, and in a wraparound. So if they want to reach out, then I'll provide them with that. And we'll hopefully have a little bit of space at the end for additional questions, but feel free to pop them in the chat and then we'll answer them at the end, just leaving enough time for Gabe. So we'll hand the mic over to you.
Thanks, Emily. And I can keep mine fairly short to make sure we have some time for discussion. But my name is Gabe Epstein with the Sundance Family Foundation. So we are a small private family foundation. We work really specifically on youth opportunities for success, particularly through employment. So by day, we're a grant maker, and we are really proud and excited to have given money to Mentor Minnesota and a bunch of other groups doing incredible work to help facilitate that. And then by night, we are program providers. And so we do the earn and learn model. The video that Emily shared earlier is a great example of what we do. And so what I'm going to do today is share my screen and just go over some of the resources that we are able to provide and kind of show what we're working to accomplish. So this one right here is a chart that we made recently, and we had some help from Ecotone Analytics in doing the research to kind of demonstrate what needs to be done. So we're following SDG model, Sustainable Development Goal Model 8.B.1, which is the UN goal of having a youth workforce be developed across the globe. And so we kind of took that and readapted it to Minnesota and our needs. And so we've created this model, this kind of 4-stage earn and learn pathway, where first youth go through the career exploration. And I should say, we particularly work with youth who are ages 16 to 24. And the goal is, as youth kind of hit age 18 or leave high school, all of those resources that they might have, either through internal school supports or other programming that they're a part of outside of school, all of those programs seem to fall off. And all these youth just kind of go off a cliff, if you will, at age 18 of what resources they have offered to them. So our hope is to get those youth back in, both before they get to that cliff and then afterwards, to get them those tools again to figure out what might be next for them and what they're able to achieve. So this first phase of career exploration, finding out their interests, starting to do some of the social and emotional development that will help them get there, doing some of the community and cultural work, figuring out what jobs are available, what jobs they might be interested in, and then getting them into some of those internship or entry-level job opportunities or trainings, becoming an apprentice, going to an OIC like Summit or Dakota, whatever type of training or programming it might be. So getting them into that short-term training, getting them into that internship or apprenticeship, and then getting into that entry-level job. And then from there, because it's an entry-level job that has career advancement opportunities, making sure that that becomes something that they can continue to grow and be successful in, and giving that continuous mentorship that Mentor Minnesota does such a great job now of helping employers to figure out on the other end, so that they can get to a point where they're earning $50,000 to $73,000 within 3 to 5 years of this general model. So that is kind of the baseline of what we're working to accomplish. And to do that, we've got a few different means. So the first one that I'm going to show you, I'm not actually going to play the video in the interest of time, but we have this Earn and Learn film that we recently produced. This is the link to the trailer, and I will throw all of these into the chat. The trailer is, I think, about 2 minutes long if anybody wants to give that a look. But from the trailer comes the actual full video. It's just under an hour. It's a really well done film that particularly showcases Lloyd and Michaela Terry, who are both from North Minneapolis. But the goal of the film is really to highlight what that Earn and Learn model looks like in practice. And so it follows those two youth as they go through a pharmaceutical training through Project for Pride in Living and then get their first job out of that. And it also showcases a few other youth and younger folks who got different trainings like CDL driver's licenses, car manufacturing, a few others, and loops them in as well to kind of give you that sense of what this model actually looks like. And the spoiler is that there's 100 different Earn and Learn models. None of the two look the same. So I'm going to skip the video for now, but you have the link. We would love if you watch it, if you share it. It is now just out for the general public. So the big one that I want to share today, every week we have a webinar series that we call Zoomer Cameras. So these Zoomer Cameras are every Friday from 11 a.m. to noon. Again, we would love to have you attend. We would love to have you share it. But the goal of the Zoomer Cameras is to bring in service providers, trainers, and job providers, and get all of those folks into the same room and make sure that all of their information is going out to either career navigators or youth guidance counselors, sometimes the youth themselves, but as many different resources as we can get out to the world and make sure that that then is trickling down into the hands of the youth who are actually going to benefit from these things. So I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of the catalog and give you all the link here as well. Again, same deal, take a look at it, share it, use it in any way that fits you best. This document is getting really big because we have now been doing the Zoomer Cameras for a full year. I think there's about 180 different folks who are listed on this thing at this point. But we have this big table of contents, and the way that it's designed is the first half is all of the kind of service and training providers. So you can see, and you can actually, it's a nice table of contents. You can actually click and go directly to whoever you're looking for. And then the second half of the list, once I eventually get there, is all of the job providers. So these groups are almost always hiring. Some might kind of come with crests and waves, but a lot of these groups are always hiring. And so as you go through the list then, and we get to the actual providers, you'll see their name, you'll see the link of the organization. So you can click here and actually go to their webpage. And then you see their email address as well, along with a little bit of a bio of what they do. So all of these people are fair game to contact, and I will also put the invitation out. If you don't feel comfortable making that initial ask yourself, but you are interested in getting connected with one of these folks, send me an email. We at Sundance are very happy to help facilitate those connections. That's very much what we're trying to accomplish. And so I'll just kind of run through a little bit so you can see some of the examples here. But what I also want to show you, we are slowly rolling out. We're now taking the Zoomer cameras that we've done, and we're actually dividing them into smaller clips so that we can highlight the individual speakers who come on the program. So you'll see now that some of these have this final sentence here, watch the Zoomer camera clip with a little link. So if you click that, it'll take you to a typically about a 15-minute long video showcasing what they're doing. And every day I'm adding more as they're being made available to me. So keep your eyes out. I also learned if you're like me and you have all of your tabs constantly up on your web browser, make sure that you refresh every now and again, because we had an internal debacle recently where half the staff couldn't find all the new links I was putting up. So that was a good lesson learned there. The other resource that I want to show everybody today is a relatively new one, and one that still needs a lot of love, but we have been putting together this Earn and Learn webpage. The goal is to kind of make it a one-stop shop with all of those various resources for youth, for job providers, and for, again, those kind of workforce navigators. So when you come on the website, earnandlearnmn.org, which will go in the chat as well, you can scroll down and there's these 5 different buttons. So if you're a youth, click the youth. If you're a career navigator or a high school guidance counselor, career navigators. If you're an employer, employers. And then if you're interested in learning more about the Earn and Learn model or watching the film that I gave you the link of, you can click here. And if you want to learn more about our Zoomer cameras, you can click here. So just to show you what one of the pages looks like, if you click youth, it will bring you here and you can just go through. It's not too pretty yet. I'll confess that I made this and I am not a web developer. So if anybody has any advice for me, I would love to make this look a little bit prettier. But for the youth in particular, it is almost entirely job boards. And so our hope was to find some of the job boards that are out there that are doing a really good job of making it clear what types of opportunities available, what types of jobs are youth friendly. We've got Ramsey County right here because Rachel's program is awesome. So youth can come on and then click any of these images and it'll bring you right to their job board. Same is true then if you go for the employers and the workforce navigators. It's folks who are doing the mentoring, it's folks who are offering business solutions, it's folks who have grant dollars, who have opportunities for ride sharing models, apprenticeship models. So we're trying to just pick the best and the brightest. And again, I would love any advice that people have for how we can make that better. So those are the main ones that I wanted to share with you. I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point and open it up to any questions or discussion there.
Yes, thanks, Gabe. And though it may need a little extra love, I think you've already done a tremendous job on the Earn and Learn webpage. I have recently just gone on there and been impressed. So it's nice to kind of have a hub, because I think you all, much like Ramsey County, has a plethora of resources and connecting tools, that it's nice to have them all housed and hubbed in one place to access. So thank you for that. But yeah, we'll open up the floor to questions too. And I'll also, in being mindful of time, I know some folks probably and may have had to already jump out of the call, but we'll continue to stay on to answer questions. But I will put up just some contact information while I open the floor for questions.
Emily, I have a question for you regarding the Connect, Focus, Grow training that you referenced before the presentation. Just wondering, is that something that we would provide to, for example, those employers who might be hosting our student interns in the summer? And I'm finding that, you know, as much as we're asked as educators to make sure that our students have those soft skills and are ready to enter the workforce, at the same time, I'm finding that oftentimes employers are not ready to receive or don't know how to receive our students.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. The Connect, Focus, Grow is sort of crafted around the age of 16 to 24. But I think between the Connect, Focus, Grow, or we have also the Maximize Your Impact, that's mentor-based training and really talking about you know, the mentoring mindset and practicing you know, leaving assumptions behind and really fostering building strong relationships. That might be another training. We also have Maximize Your Opportunity, and that would be on the mentee side. We've even had some recent trainings where we've kind of merged the two together for some programs that are just getting going, and really allowing both the mentee and the mentors to have some training behind what does this look like and how can I get the most out of this opportunity for myself. But yeah, we can definitely connect about, you know, talking about the needs that you have and sort of the ages, how many folks, you know, are looking to you know, receive some training or education behind that, and go from there too.
Good. Okay, and Rachel, I
Yeah.
saw your comment as well, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah, I sent it to Mindy, but I'll recommend Irreducible Grace Foundation if folks are familiar with them. Who has done the employer training for Right Track and then for our Right Track Plus program. And they're a youth-led group that does that. And it's a really great training about how employers can better support young people in the workplace.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, but I do think, you know, having the employers come in, I think the Connect, Focus, Grow as well, like would be, so any of those resources are good. I think the important part is having those conversations with folks that I think mentorship takes intention behind it, you know, and really thoughtful processes of being prepared. And then there again, we know the benefits, we know that mentoring works, and, you know, really being able to support those young people in those transitions. So yeah, but I'm happy to connect you with some of our resources or talk to you too about it. Oh, Brad's got his hand up. I have to scroll down. I can't see all of you at the same time. Sorry. So you just have to unmute yourself too.
I did. Thanks.
Okay.
You guys are, you three, Ramsey County and Sundance and Mentor Minnesota, are strongly connected. I'm wondering how strongly connected. If someone went to, you know, one of us who are just in the community generally, or even, you know, someone in the schools, had a particular contact they wanted to find, if there was some other people that they could connect to, so it's not just a cold call, that there's already been a wheel invented with that person into either Ramsey County or Sundance, which are both kind of in the same area, right? Sundance mostly serves Ramsey County as well. So I think, so if someone contacted one of the three of you, would they be able to connect to the other two of you? In other words, is your partnership that built out that you would have like an automatic connection where you say, for example, if I went to Gabe and I said, here's an employer that really matches one of my young people that I'm mentoring. would he be able to say, well, talk to Emily because she might be able to put a mentorship program in place to help you and to help you build out a bench of mentors where there just not only be one mentor-mentee relationship, but a bunch of them, enough to justify Mentor Minnesota coming in and helping us build a program? Are the partnerships that strong where they'd be like on call to help jump in?
So Brad, I can start off. First, we don't primarily serve Ramsey County. We do the whole metro and all of greater Minnesota. The reason that you think that, though, is because Ramsey County is miles above everybody else in getting this work done.
Okay.
That's how it looks. As far as your actual question, though, and I think this is largely what the speakers catalog is trying to be, but we want to be that resource provider. We want to have all of those different folks. And because we keep putting that living document together, we also have a good finger on the pulse of who those people are. So on our end, I would say absolutely. If you reach out to Peg or I or Murray, we're pretty good at drumming up a quick list of people that you should go talk to and making those connections.
Yeah, and Brad, I'll just add, the unique piece about our role at Ramsey County in the workforce solutions is that we really see ourselves as the convener, right? So we are, we have that partnership directory that has 120 plus organizations on it. Somebody on my planning team probably personally knows someone at each of those organizations. And so that's what's really exciting about sort of being able to be the facilitator. We also really lean on our workforce development board. So that board is 51% employer represented. It also has our partners who are providing services in the community, education partners. And so we really see ourselves in that exact role that you talked about of, folks coming to say, I want to support young people in employment, help me plug into who's doing that best, right? And there might be some geography that might make sense about an organization that would be good to pair with. There might be population pieces. So really depends, but that's where we see our role at Ramsey County is trying to be a connector and a convener for folks who want to do the work.
Yeah, and I think Gabe and Rachel nailed it. And the Mentor Minnesota is the same. We are conveners. We want to connect people to each other. So that's been a big part of my mission, is to try to keep reaching out to different communities, different foundations, different partnerships all across Minnesota, not just the Twin Cities, but beyond. And knowing that I don't have all the answers and I'm not an expert in everything. Though, my husband says that I might try to be, but in all seriousness, knowing that if I don't have a specific resource, then I'm happy to share it or connect you with someone that might.
Thanks very much, everybody.
You bet. Well, I know we're at our time right now, but I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer, but I do want to just thank everyone again, Rachel, Gabe, Sundance, Ramsey County, you are powerhouses when it comes to this work, and we appreciate all of you and all the work you're doing. We also appreciate all of you that have taken your lunchtime to be with us today. So definitely stay in touch, reach out. We're happy to uplift and support work that you have.